is our Friday follow-up. When Andrea and I were coming up with the idea for this meeting, we were noticing that there was often, like, our team has been struggling. And let me just be honest, I have also struggled with inviting people to Thursday night calls and then turning around and inviting people to Sunday night calls. That's part of our onboarding process. It is a system that we are using to help recruit, train, and develop leaders on our team. So, by the way, if you don't have those Thursday night and Sunday night calls repeating in your calendar, go ahead and do that right now. That would be like a great little administrative thing to do this morning. I personally, and we've talked about this again, and we'll talk about it soon in a minute, but I've even got my invitations saved into my notes so that I can make a really easy invite to folks on both of those nights. So that's why we do this. We kind of wanted to have a link day where we just sit down and work for 30 minutes. But what we want to do is kick this call off with a little bit of celebration and shout out, because I want you to see what's happening already. This is Andrea's full team. We've got people who are close to earning the watch. And let me go ahead and say this. I said it Monday on Masterclass. Our goal for you isn't the watch. That's not our highest and best goal. It's just a reward for working your business. I always say income over incentives, but also give me all those incentives. Let me shout out people, because I know that both Christy and Ivy are on this call. And I know I saw both your names. So I'm just looking really quick. There's Christy and there's Ivy. Okay. So you guys have already recruited two, way to go. I'm so proud. Some folks who aren't on this call are also on this list. In fact, if you see someone in your downline or your upline that's on this list, will you just seriously send them a shout out text and say, oh my gosh, they've got your name on the Friday follow-up call. I see you've already recruited several. Way to go. Or Ivy and Christy, text your uplines and say, oh my gosh, they're shouting me out on Friday follow-up. That's so fun. Because by the way, I know this call is during the workday and not everyone can join, or some of you guys are literally, I see both Pam and Ivy, and I know you're joining from work. Way to go. We see you. We're proud of you. We see this team working. Hey, we want to help you get some more. Okay. I'm seeing Bethany Spear. I'm going to send her a text. She's another diamond, and she's already got 4 new VIPs, and I'm really proud of her. She's kicking butt. So, okay, moving right along. So what we want to do right now is, first of all, we want to spend some time following up with people that are already receiving the How to Earn text messages. Just as a review, every Sunday night, there is a business opportunity call. And during that call, they give out a phone number that people can text, and it will walk them through. It's just 1 week of daily text messages. People, I've done it. You're not getting bombarded. It's a simple text message that helps direct people into action, which moves the needle towards them recruiting 3 people and earning $300 in a week. Okay. How great is that? So these are the folks who've been on a Sunday night call. They were getting the How to Earn text messages. Here's a sample of what you could say to them. Hey, Beck, happy Friday. What's been your experience with the text about how to earn this week? Would you be open to sharing the call for this Sunday with a few friends? And how would you feel if we could help a few of your friends cover their costs and increase your bonuses? What you're essentially doing is inside. I love, Andrea wrote this script, and what I love about it is it's not using plexusy language. It's not hey, do you want to go silver? Let's help some other people go silver. Let's have an opportunity call. It's just the Sunday call. We're going to help them cover their costs. We're going to increase your bonuses. This is going to move the needle towards them. Yes, going silver, potentially even fast start senior silver, and them earning the watch themselves, right, guys? Because we have this incentive that is available to everyone who purchases from you this month. So first of all, if you invited people to Sunday night call, whether or not they did the text to earn, this is where you can follow up with those folks. If they did text the How to Earn number, then this is what you want to send them, okay? And what do you think, Andrea? Should we spend 5 minutes here? Okay. By the way, guys, if you didn't invite anyone to Sunday night, we're going to be doing that as well. So you can either work on making your list or you can even follow up with other people right now. But we're going to go ahead and set the timer for 5 minutes and get some work done. And then we'll be back. Okay, there's our timer. Hopefully it's helpful for you to actually just spend some dedicated time following up with folks on this. And just as a reminder, like it takes a while to get into the habit to be like, oh my gosh, I've got to follow up with people. I was talking, I think, to Jody earlier this week about truly why the fortune is in the follow-up. And it really, I really believe this. It has to do, again, with making it be about other people. Whenever there's a big incentive month, like this month where you can win a watch, it's so easy to think of your 6 people as like, I just got to get my 6. And again, that's such a self-focused way of doing business, and people sense it. And it's what gets us to recruit people, but not follow up. And so following up is a way to remind myself, this is about them. I do this for them. I'm not inviting people to these calls for myself. And you're not. I want you to really shift that. You are inviting people to listen to these calls because people have serious health needs. They need something to change the trajectory of their health, and they have serious financial needs. And you are inviting them to do this. So remember, get to that place of making this be about them and for them. And I promise it will make these invites and follow-ups a lot easier. Okay, I'm going to pass to Andrea.
Who's trying to unmute? Okay, so here we go. The next thing is we are going to evaluate how invites went for a Thursday night. Like, how did you do posting about, so this is where I need y'all to get into the chat. This helps me. So how many times did you post about Thursday night call? Because mine's a big fat goose egg. I got totally distracted by Star Diamonds Rising, which is not a good idea. And because yesterday was my day, and totally forgot to post about Thursday night call. So I would love to hear anybody else feel like you bombed it or inviting, or did anyone do a really good job? Christy, I'm going to call on you if I don't see your name pop up in the chat, because I know, and Jody, because I can see both of your faces.
I bombed it. I'll be the first to admit I bombed it.
Good company, good company. Okay, Christy, totally failed that one this week. Okay, is that kind of like, okay, we're all in the same boat. So we might have totally missed out on that. I want to remind y'all too that there is a recording, or there's a replay of that on Mondays. So if you feel like you bombed it, or you're like, oh, I totally needed to invite so-and-so to that, or I was gonna follow up with that person and invite them, there's Sunday night call, but the good thing is the replay, it's not a recording, the replay of the Thursday night call is on Mondays. I think it's at 12 or 12:30 Central. We'll get that information to y'all so that y'all have the opportunity to be like, hey, you can't get on Sunday night? Great, let's listen to a different call on Monday, and then I'm going to send you the recording of Sunday night. So Sunday nights are recorded. Becky and I have access to, all the diamonds have access to those recordings because they're placed on the diamond page by the person that's running them. So we have access to Sunday night recordings, but I would invite them to Monday as well. Okay, so did anyone have the opportunity to invite someone? Georgiana, did you invite anybody last night to the Thursday night call? How did your invites go? Okay, while Georgiana's getting a chance to respond, Ivy, having a hard time getting people on this call means you're probably not inviting enough people, and you're probably not doing it personally enough. And I'm saying that like not pointing a finger at you, like pointing a finger, all the fingers back at me, is that, yeah, what Becky said, how you're inviting is, instead of saying, I want to invite you to a call, you need to really start with a question of, have you ever been curious about stories about plexus? Have you ever been curious to hear how somebody is getting over their migraines? Have you ever wondered what this really looks like on a testimonial side? So making the presentation about them, making it into a question, or what part of this has ever been interesting to you on the product side? Like what part, if you could dig into any part of the product side of this, what part of it would you like to dig into? And kind of get them talking. And I say that, okay, so y'all know, you may not know, I love this book. It's within arm's reach of me at all times. It's Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones. This is a different version than probably what you have. I have, I think, 3 different versions of this book. And I really want to challenge you. Here's why books like this are so so impressive to me. The first thing, I'm just literally pulling it open in the middle. When would be a good time? So when would be a good time for you to listen to a call that has testimonials on it? When would be a good time for you to listen to a call that has stories other than mine that you might be able to connect with? So letting them make the decision on when would be a good time for them. Another thing, have you ever been curious about what is your experience in the past with health and wellness products? What is your experience in the past? Maybe not even just with network marketing, but with supplements. Having some conversations and then finding out what works better for them. Okay, so that's on inviting. Did anyone get anybody to show up on the call last night? I know that Jody, Christy, and I all failed on inviting anyone. Georgiana, did you invite anybody last night?
Yes, it's probably weren't the ideal people, but I wanted my 3 new VIPs from this week to go on there because I like them to hear how, people that are jumping in and starting on their products, I want them to hear what they're getting into and how it's helped so many people. Plus there's that little snippet with the 3rd testimony about the opportunity, because I've been getting bolder and bringing it up at the very beginning with all of them. But it was just a crazy day. By the time I saw your Star Diamonds, and I'm trying to like video all these different little bits of my day so I can get it. It still hasn't been posted because I haven't compiled it. But I was supposed to be getting on the road at a certain time to go meet up with Lisa and Cheryl in Phoenix. And so like on my drive down there, I'm remembering I forgot to invite them to this thing. I had posted the graphics about it, but so I sent the graphics to them and said, I'm sorry, this is last minute, but if you have just 15 minutes free at 6:30, I would love for you just to hear some of these folks talking about how Plexus has made a huge difference in their life. So I think one of them couldn't because she has kid duty. Her husband works really late. And the other one, because I couldn't get on to see, I was in traffic. She said something, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
I don't think anybody got on. It looks like one of them had to go get she has some kind of piercings. She had to get them reopened so that her week-long monster migraine would go away. And I'm like, well, pretty soon you won't need that.
That's awesome. I think one thing that you said at the beginning, Georgia, I want to challenge you on. Everyone needs to listen to these calls. So when you say it wasn't the ideal people, I think your new VIPs getting on Thursday night calls and Sunday night calls is perfect. I think continue to invite everybody who is currently in your back office right now, continue to invite them because this is where belief is built. So I do see you like at least being like all of us at least know like, oh, I forgot. Like, I mean, anybody else see the graphic and you're like, oh, I totally forgot to invite people to this. And I just think it's a good reminder also to time block and to put it in your calendar on Wednesday. Honestly, I think one thing I really want to start doing, and I want to start like encouraging y'all, is that we start inviting prior to the day of, that we start sharing these graphics 2 different ways. And here are the 2 different ways I think you should share them, not on 2 different platforms. I do think you need to share them both on Facebook and on Instagram, but I think you need to share them as what is the story of the graphic. So like on Sunday night, when we look at those, like what are those stories that they're sharing? Because they're going ahead and telling you their stories. And do you have any kind of a personal relationship, even if it's a distant personal relationship with them? So one thing I would say is if anybody that you know is in pictures with them, if they've ever spoken at a leaders retreat, the last 2 leaders retreats you've been to, if you have a personal, like, I love following this person because XYZ, even if it's one person out of the 3 in the graphic, I think somehow bringing in a personal story with these people is really important. So like here on the Real People, Real Stories call, I think that's Christine Weir at the bottom. And so you could be like, my friend Andrea is, goes on, trips with this person. Like these are people that are in the top levels. I love watching Star Diamonds, which Christine Weir is. So you getting to know who these people are is really important. And I will do a better job as we are announcing them on the table, letting you know who these people are and maybe where to go find like their diamond documentary, get to know them a little bit better so that you have a personal connection and a personal reason to invite people to listen to this call as well. Okay, we're going to move along to Sunday night. So Jenna Hoodala is doing the Sunday night call, which is great because so many of y'all already follow her. She's a blast to follow. I know there's pictures of Jenna and Roz together, so you can talk about my upline. Roslyn is really good friends with this girl. I love that our teams all talk to each other, and so I'll drop that in the comments of the post on the table so that you can kind of share that if you want to. That we really are a company. I think it's important for people to see we are a company that shares knowledge and we share teams, and all these people aren't necessarily on our teams. So let's talk about who can you invite to Sunday night calls. We only have like 7 minutes left, so I want to go real fast. Hey, Beth, I'm not sure if it's for you or not, but some of my friends are sharing their stories on Sunday, and I think you might enjoy listening in. Can I send you the link? I can't, I put captions down, so now I can't see the rest of the slide, but y'all can read. I hope. Beth, can y'all see the rest of that, or is it captions covering it? You can see it? Okay. On the recording, it's going to have captions so people can have captions. So I want y'all to be really mindful of how you're inviting, what you're saying, and just that you're being bold. So I would encourage you right now to go ahead and grab the graphics off of the table and have them saved in your phone, because you're more likely to post this if you have the graphics. So right now, go to the table. Me too. And then it's in the pinned post. So it's the very first thing that you see. You'll see this graphic. Save it in the Facebook size and save it in the story size. And here's why. In the story size, I love, sometimes I even cut them up. Like I'll copy it like 3 times and I'll just cut out that one section and I'll talk about each person's individual story. But on the Facebook size, sometimes on Instagram, I use the smaller size so I can use a poll. Like which one of these is the most important to you, the slider poll, because on the story size, it's actually really hard for them to be able to read it and for you to do a poll at all or fill in the blank questions. And so sometimes I use the smaller one even in stories. So, and then on Facebook, even I would share this graphic and then share the graphic. I'll share it with y'all, the picture of Roz and Jenna together. So you can be like, my upline loves, is such good friends with these people. Like this is a really, it's a really personal way to connect it. Okay. So y'all have those 2 things saved. I want to make sure we have, okay, I want to make sure we got to the end of it. Wondered why there are different sizes. There's a Facebook size and there's a story graphic size. And yeah, so that helps. Does that help you a little bit with the sizes and like how to use them? Okay, I'm going to give you like 5 minutes. I'd love for y'all to ask questions about Thursday night call, following up, getting people engaged in the calls. Does everybody have a funnel? Are y'all actually working from a list of potentials? Georgia, Jody, and Christy all nodded. So that makes me feel better because I can see your faces. The link is on the table. But I honestly think the link is like the last thing you send. I think the link is like, are you in conversations? Like, if they're like, yeah, I'd love to, be like, okay, which one of these would be like, which story when I send this to you is the most impressive to you? Like, find out what is connecting with them on this. Because here's the thing I would do too. If they're like, well, she said that she's not having mood swings and hot flashes anymore, and I've been really struggling with perimenopause. And you're like, okay, can I add you to a page? Or say, I'm going to add you to a page called Gut Glam. I'm actually going to tag you in some stories so you can read along before Sunday of some other testimonials as well. So find out what's connecting for them from this. Find out when you say, I have some of my friends sharing a story on Sunday, be like, what kind of story would you love to hear? If you could hear any story about Plexus, any testimonial, what would it be? And then maybe I'd love to hear someone who's increasing their milk supply while they're breastfeeding. Like, I don't know if I can, breastfeed much, whatever it is. And you're like going to dig, going to add you to Gut Glam, accept this invitation, get in this page. I'm going to tag you in a couple of testimonials. Okay. So Sarah does have a list. Good. I love that. Okay. We got 3 minutes left. This is your chance to unmute and ask a question before we go into a really busy weekend and we're halfway through the month.
Just to confirm, the taller photo is the one that is technically intended for stories.
Yeah, it's technically intended just because it actually fits the story size. So
Okay.
you can put that in there. I have cut mine up almost weekly. Like I'll make it 3 times and then I'll just cut out Margot and her story and I'll crop to Jenna and her story and I'll crop to Kelly and her story and make it 3 different like little slides. But I think that how to earn $300 in less than a week is a really good like kind of attention grabber. You can go into stickers and grab circles and the circles will like be moving. And so you can do that around message me for the link, Zoom link, how to earn $300. You can do lines that kind of move. So if there's some interaction, people are like, oh, it's only 15 minutes. Oh, okay. Here's all the times and all the different, locations. PST/Arizona now that y'all are 2 hours difference.
Yeah, I think we're technically the same as Pacific right now instead of Mountain. We never
y'all moved
change,
from
so
Mountain
it gets
Pacific.
really confusing for us because we don't change. We just keep cruising. And then you're like, because I thought this was going to be an hour later at my time, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm wrong. That's why I was late getting on here.
Yeah.
I think for the calls, I don't know about anyone else. I get so busy like trying to stay on my own focus of the people on my list that I'm trying to get engagement and interaction with and reaching out to and doing the Star Diamonds assignment and, all the things. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, tonight's the call. I have forgotten and spaced it about that. So if you have a tip on how to just keep that in the forefront of our mind, so we're not doing this last minute willy-nilly, that would be super cool.
2 things. One, if you use your phone, I would set it a reminder. I would time block it so that on like, let's say Saturday, if you kind of know what your day looks like, I would actually I would put it on the calendar, on your actual iCalendar, like at 1 o'clock, I would do it like 24 hours before the call. So let's say 6 o'clock PM for you, Georgiana, I would do, post, Sunday night call, how to earn is what it's called, but post Sunday night call and then set an actual reminder so that your phone pings at 6 o'clock on Sunday night. Like you don't want to set that reminder if you know you're going to be in church service, right? But you want to set that reminder if you're going to be at home, just kind of, and you're like, oh, okay, reminder. And then I would also set an alarm if you want to, like day of, like at some point today, if you're like, okay, at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I'm actually going to sit down and chop all these up and put them in a story graphic so that Friday I'm talking about it, Saturday I'm talking about it, Sunday I'm like, today's the day. If you talk about this call for 3 days on your socials, and then you're also personally inviting people and you're personally having conversations for 3 days, the chances are, so I would actually do everything that you're doing today, tomorrow, and Sunday around your business. I would make sure that you're dropping this conversation in to that. And I think it'll become more like, and as you get people on these calls and as they enjoy them, I think you're more likely to stick to inviting people to the call because you'll see the connection. Okay, it's 10:30. I'm going to let y'all go. Go get your Star Diamonds Rising stuff done today. I think it's Jana Hooten is today, and I'm excited to go listen to it. So I'm going to listen to it with y'all. Bye.